So I'm playing 5-5, and Under the Gun +1 opens to $20. I'm on the button. There's two callers before it gets to me. I've got King Queen offsuit on the button. We are over $1,000 effective. I mean, there's clearly multiple players in the hand, but everyone has at least $1,000 in front of them.
What about the main antagonist and you? What's the effective stack between the two of you?
It's going to end up being something like, I think, 1,300 or so.
Okay. Is this the 1,500 max at Meadows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Indeed it is. So I'm just going to get to the more interesting stuff. So I call on the button.
Well, I mean, I think that's an interesting decision, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, so is Under the Gun that opened and is
+1.
+1, and is that player the 1,300 effective?
Yeah.
And what type of a player are they? Are they loose?
I've never played with him before. I've only been at the table for about 2 orbits. He looks cool and put together and dangerous. Without knowing anything, you know what I mean? He's got one of those vibes about him. Like,
but often those guys end up not being what you think, but it's possible.
No question. But I'm just letting you know, like, that's the immediate hit I get. He's a younger guy. He's probably like 29, younger than me at least. And yeah, he's just got that vibe of like, you know, I could, you know, watch out, buddy. You know, one of those. Not like he's gonna punch me, but like, you know, I could ram aggression down your throat. Again, who knows if any of this is true? I certainly acknowledge this, but that's the feel. Some people don't feel like that, right? He does.
Here's an immediate live read, and you could take this either way. But if he has not topped up to $1,500, $200 is a significant difference between the max buy and where he is. He may be money scared. That's just something that, like, there are some people who come with one buy-in and then they play a bit money scared. Yeah. So anybody who's not topping up is less likely to ram it with aggression pre-flop, in my opinion.
Fair enough. So anyway, so what are you doing here? Are you always 3-betting, or are you sometimes 3-betting?
I wish I was always. I wish I was always 3-betting. Like, this is why I ask about the player type, because I think against a neutral player type, who I guess we can assign this as a relatively neutral player type, all you have is like an imagery read on him, which is not much. King Queen off plays obviously far worse than King Queen suited, and you have significant blockers to Ace King, Ace Queen, King King, and Queen Queen. It's a reasonable 3-betting hand. I actually think it's a better 4-betting hand than it is a 3-betting hand, because you unblock the 3-bet bluffs, but that's another issue entirely. But I like this as a 3-bet. I think you just make more money 3-betting here, making it like $115, taking it down a lot of the time. When you get called, you get to win a lot. Sometimes you have to fold to a 4-bet, and this would be one of those times. Yeah. So I think I prefer that play.
I think if I'm not on the button or in the big blind, I'm much more open to it being a 3-betting hand. Being on the button is such an excellent like bonus that I don't mind calling with it and just seeing it as a speculative hand that I'm playing, you know, and not playing it as a squeeze.
I think cleaning up equity is more valuable than that. I mean,
you could be right.
King 7-6, 2 heart flops are way better heads up than they are 4 ways.
No question about it. Come play with us on Clubs Poker. They have ring games, they have tournaments, and there's always a game going on, always.
I have been dabbling on Clubs Poker for a little bit, and honestly, I'm pretty impressed. They have great software. I can play multiple tables on my iPad. They also have great desktop software, and there's no funny business. It's a US-based company. You don't have to deal with crypto or anything. All of the redemptions go straight to your bank account. Join using our affiliate link, and we'll see you at Clubs Poker.
Anyway, I call.
Which is fine. It's fine. I think I prefer to 3-bet, though.
Understood. The big blind calls as well. So we're 5 ways to the flop, which is Queen 10-4 with 2 diamonds. We have the King of Diamonds and the Queen of Clubs in our hands. So we
would have been so much easier if we 3-bet.
Queen 10-4.
Yeah.
Once again, 2 diamonds. It checks all the way to me.
Okay.
So there's basically there's $105 in the pot. So what are you doing?
There's 2 diamonds and the Queen and the 10. I think I'm betting 70.
Okay. So I bet 55. So a little less.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I don't have to talk about it. It's not that big a difference at this stage of it, right? So we can get into that size difference, but there's more interesting things to talk about. So I bet 55. The only caller is the original raiser.
Okay. I'm putting him on ace king or ace jack right now a lot of the time.
I think that's a very reasonable thing to put him on.
Yeah.
I felt I felt very comfortable betting there. Obviously, I'm not loving getting check raised by anybody, but just the call, I felt very good. Okay. The turn is the 7 of diamonds. So that's a third diamond. We again have the king of diamonds in our hand. So it's queen 10, 4, 7, 3 diamonds. And now the original raiser leads for 75.
That's the face I would make. I'd be like, for those who are not watching and listening, sorry, but it was a face of skepticism.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't make that face in the moment, but my internal face would be that face.
Yeah.
75. It's like a small lead. I'm now putting him on ace king or ace jack with the ace of diamonds. That seems like the most likely holdings for me.
Yep.
If he's a strange, tricky player, he could have like a scared set, but I don't know why he wouldn't check raise a set on that wet flop after he got what he wanted and had a different player bet into him. So it seems unlikely that he's got a set. It seems unlikely that he has an overpair. Most players are going to want to clean up equity on the flop with an overpair. Some players play differently. It's possible you could have that, but it feels like ace king or ace jack with the ace of diamonds.
Yeah.
It really depends on if he's scared money or not. Like you could raise based on that just to like clean up your equity at this point. If your read is strong enough and you agree with me. But if he's the type of player who is willing to put in the 3-bet with the nut blocker, then that kind of screws you. So yeah, I mean, calling feels like Occam's razor, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, look, if he has ace jack or ace king with the ace of diamonds, I don't know that I'm really cleaning up any equity anyway, right? Like I'm just putting more money in a spot where he may have the nut blocker and make my life hard, and as opposed to where actually I'm getting a really cheap price to close the action on the turn, see what the river is, and make decisions in position. So to me, it felt like a pretty straightforward call because of that. I agree with you that I felt like this feels like the naked ace of diamonds kind of all the time here when he leads for 75. Clearly, once in a while he can have the other hands like you're talking about. By the way, once in a while he can definitely have a flush even. Right, got to be a little bit of the time. But
I guess
it
you could
feels
have like the 9-8 of diamonds or something like that.
I don't know, or whatever he could have. But it feels like mostly it just feels like that weird lead out of nowhere. It just feels like the naked ace of diamonds. So that's what I was thinking about.
Because like what other hands besides ace king or ace jack with the ace of diamonds does he play the flop that way unless he's a weird player? Like I guess he could have the 9-8 of diamonds, but you would really think with the combo draw you would bet the flop 5 ways. I don't know.
I would think, or check raise the flop a lot of the time. But not always. Some people play weird. I don't know this guy. I don't want to say for sure I know what he's doing, but I felt like I think I'm ahead most of the time here. I liked having the king of diamonds in my hand as, a blocker to everything anyway. Seemed like a good spot. Like he doesn't have ace king of diamonds. We know that he doesn't have king jack of diamonds. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So the river comes. It is the king of spades. So we make top 2.
Yeah.
And it's queen 10, 4, 7, king. Now, with 3 diamonds. He checks.
Okay.
So what are you doing?
Well, there's still the concern that he just made a straight and he's like worried that you have a flush and he's check calling.
Sure.
Ace king feels a lot more likely with the ace of diamonds. Would he turn that into a bluff? Is he the type of guy who's capable of turning that into a bluff? Because if you're going to bet fold, then that's a problem. I think the move is to bet pretty big and fold to a raise. So don't leave any room for doubt in your own mind that maybe you sized yourself into him raising you as a bluff,
Interesting.
So,
okay.
So there's how much in the pot? There's something like 350, something like that?
Yeah, about 3. I think it's 355, but something like that.
So I want to go like 275 to 300 here.
Got it.
With the intention of folding to a raise unless I get some sort of insane physical read that tells me I need to call.
So I had a really different thought on this than you did. Like you want to bet big to define the hand, right?
And get called by ace king.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I felt when he checked there that I bet as well. I chose to bet, but I wanted to bet smaller to get called by more things potentially.
Yeah, I'm not as concerned about that. Like I don't think you're getting called by. Maybe you get called by ace queen sometimes.
I mean, I think ace queen can call for sure.
But ace queen is such a less likely holding based on his actions.
It might be, but 5 ways out of position to so many people. Maybe he doesn't love it. Also,
Maybe.
Could he have like queen jack suited? It seems unlikely to be clear why he leads the turn with queen jack suited. Although leading the turn the way he did with almost anything is weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I decided I just wanted to bet in a way that the parts of his range that I was beating could call. Some of them could call. So I bet 225.
Okay. Well, it's not too small.
No, I didn't bet tiny, but I was trying to get called. I was trying to get called by exactly ace queen, honestly. Like, but
Right.
I thought like bigger than that, ace queen might fold out. Again, I don't know how he has ace queen that often, but ace queen with the ace of diamonds, I guess makes sense if he's being careful on the flop 5 ways, which isn't crazy. So he starts thinking, and I remember this because I remember thinking like, it'd be pretty sick if this guy check raises me right now. And as I thought that, thought that, I watched him reach deep, like start to like, go down into those like $25 chips, the green ones. I'm like, oh my God, he's check raising me right now. And he makes it 535 to go off our 225 bet.
Yeah. I mean, we just fold, I think. I don't know. Like it's a strange way to play a flush. It really is. It feels like it's mostly the nut flush when it's that.
Yeah.
If he's good enough, he could feel safe enough with the ace jack with the ace of diamonds that he feels like, okay, I know he's not going to 3-bet me because like sometimes I get called by Jonathan's flush, but Jonathan never has a 3-bet if I have the ace of diamonds. Right. So if he's good enough to do that, that's a little scary. But I don't know anything about him except that he basically has a flat brim hat on. Is the read that I got on him from you?
He looks like he's capable of this being a bluff based on his look and feel. But again, it's been 2 orbits. I know nothing.
Most people are not capable of bluffing here.
I mean, I think most of the time, the last time someone bluffed like this was like the Nixon administration. But I was aware that like I'm sitting with the king of diamonds in my hand, which is kind of a nice card to have. It's not ideal. It's not perfect, but it's a pretty good card. And I was just thinking about the turn a lot. And I was like, I mean, doesn't he just always have the naked ace of diamonds when he bets the turn 75? I feel like he does. So I actually said out loud, boy, I really hope you don't have that hand. And that hand was ace jack with the ace of diamonds.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess if he played a flush like this, congratulations to him. I don't know. I also felt like he bet small enough that I felt like I'm actually getting a really good price to call here. Like, so I decided to call with king queen, and he had, it's the reveal, ace king with the ace of diamonds. He turned top with the nut flush blocker into a bluff.
Okay, so he's capable.
Which is kind of the only things I can really beat. Like that and maybe aces with the ace of diamonds. I guess he checked and thought like, when this guy bets, I'm not good. One pair isn't good enough anymore. And so, I mean, it's kind of awesome. If he made it more, I might have found a fold, but it was little enough. I just felt like getting a great price. I have the king of diamonds. It felt like his hand was pretty well defined. It's going to suck if he has ace jack off.
Well,
it's going to really suck.
I guess I had his range right from the flop on, but I did not expect him to turn that into a bluff over like 225 seems like a big enough bet that you wouldn't expect that too often. But I guess, I mean, it's kind of a sick play. It's a pretty sick play by him. Yeah.
I mean, I think the play like justifies what I was saying about how he looks and feels a little bit, and maybe he's the kind of guy. Actually, I don't want to be 3-betting as much and be calling more to let him like have room to make these kind of all these plays against me where I can, have more shots at having hands that I can call down with,
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I don't know.
Well,
it's an interesting hand.
Good job. Like, I would have folded, so good job.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just felt like the king of diamonds is a really important card, and it was weird to have a hand which like I don't think I beat any value at all. I don't see how I could beat any value. And yet I don't know what he has that really beats me except those weirdly played flushes. And I guess if he's being really, really out there with the ace jack, because he's never check raising anything worse than ace jack, and even that feels like questionable to really do that. Because I could have diamonds for sure the way I played it. So would he really do it with ace jack? So now it's just a super weirdly played flush. I was like, I mean, he has it sometimes, I guess, but I just felt like I couldn't fold for like 310 more based on the size of the pot and everything. So I don't know if I got lucky or what, but I happened to win that one.
He chose the story against a math guy. That was a mistake by him.
That's right. That's right. If he chose if he makes it $950, I'm going to have a much tougher spot. And I think I'm definitely going to find a lot more folds. Of course I am, because the math is really different, right? I do have that beautiful king of diamonds, though.
So worked out pretty well.
I mean, king jack with the king of diamonds, I guess, is better ultimately there, right? But because we block or maybe not. I don't even know.
That's interesting because you're basically just like a passenger in that hand who just gets to continue calling. And that was just your job.
I mean, all I did was bet the flop. I bet $55 on the flop, and then here we are at the river. I'm like, all right, I guess I might lose a big pot now. I don't know. I called relatively quickly because it just felt like, because I just thought about that turn. I'm like, it just has to be the naked ace of diamonds, at least a bunch of the time. Enough that I can call here, Like, is he ever turning ace into a check raise for value? No, I don't think so, but I still feel like I have to call. So I just did. That sucks. It sucks when you're calling sort of like feeling like, I don't know, we're just rolling the dice here. Sometimes I win. I don't know how often. Whatever. Feels like a call,
won that
I guess.
time.
It was nice to win. It was really nice to win.
I'm sick and tired of being tired of being sick. In my head 24/7, how I'm supposed to pay the rent. Mr. Practice, I don't play. Friday nights we on the bench, trying to come up with a play. If it don't work, then hit a lick.